Board. I'm one, though, of 9 members. I'm joined here on the dais with several of them, and others are on the Zoom call this evening. Our Vice Chair is Cap Ashworth, who represents the RTM. Steph Cowie, who is our Secretary, represents the ADA Advisory and Advocacy Committee. Dan Izu, who is online, represents the RTM. Javier Allman, EMAC, the Energy Management Advisory Committee. Megan Cutler, to my left, represents the Byram Neighborhood Association. Michael Armstrong, our Veterans Association. And Christina Schweffel and Ed Fuss, who are Office of First Selectman appointees to the task force. I'm also joined by Kate Bush, our Town Administrator, and Luigi Romano from Public Works. I want to thank them for their dedication and steadfast support of the committee, as well as Joe Siciliano, who's in the audience tonight, and Peter Lowe from P&Z for their support for our work. It's been a collaborative effort of town volunteers and town officials who have worked steadfastly to get us to where we are this evening. We're here tonight for a crucial step in finding a permanent home for Greenwich ice hockey and skating. Since April, our task force has been working diligently and transparently to rigorously evaluate potential sites and to ensure your voices are heard. Our mission is clear: to deliver a site recommendation to the Office of First Selectman to facilitate the construction of a new, modern, sustainable ice rink that serves our community for generations. Tonight is not about presenting a final answer, however. Tonight is about listening to you as we head towards the finish line. We knew from day one that the success of this project hinged on a clear process, transparency, and a strong element of community engagement. First, we created a detailed project plan, a rink evaluation matrix, a transparent scorecard based on the Office of First Selectman's charge to us, including conformity with the Plan of Conservation and Development, ADA compliance, and energy efficiency, among other considerations. Second, we listened to the people who use the ice. The user groups, the Greenwich High School, Cardinal Youth Hockey, the Skating Club, were unanimous. We must seek to minimize program disruption. They voiced strong reservations about any temporary or undersized rink solution. They also confirmed the need and their strong preferences for 2 ice sheets and modern amenities. We also met with the RTM committee chairs who took up the original Rink MI, Municipal Improvement, and listened to community feedback, and all reinforced 2 key themes. 1, the need for transparency in our process and in the cost estimation. This is our second public hearing. The first occurred on June 4th. We integrated all of this feedback into our decision-making. We began with a long list of over 30 potential sites. We then systematically eliminated locations that were not viable due to a combination of factors related to the POCD, wetlands, coastal overlay consideration, pocket parks, traffic, and other concerns. We also reaffirmed the conclusion that the existing Hamel Rink, that building, is not suitable for renovation. The rigorous process has led us to our current focus of 3 viable locations that deserve deep professional study. These are 1, Merlot Park. We are evaluating 2 options here, including the original municipal improvement approved flip plan and build-in place. I want to be clear here. The additional flip design that was recently presented to the BNA, the Byram Neighborhood Association, was not a task force product and is not being promoted by the task force or the town. We did, however, welcome and appreciate the feedback by our BNA rep, who has done an outstanding job representing her constituency. Site 2, Horseneck Parking Lot. Site 3, Island Beach Parking Lot. We have critical next steps that remain, and we have reached an important turning point. We are pleased to report that the BET has recently released the funding to move forward with a professional due diligence. This is the information you and the town deserve to see, and the task force needs to see to complete its work. For these 3 focus locations, we've commissioned 2 vital studies. 1, a professional cost estimate for the construction including the price of new features and temporary ice rink if necessary, of the rink itself, and 2, a Phase 1 environmental impact study. This data will be the foundation for our final recommendation, and it is useful for us to make fact-based decisions on a final site recommendation. We are also continuing to discuss the current interpretation of the open space and the plan of conservation development as it applies to all sites, including Merlot Park. We will be discussing this important issue again at our October 15th meeting. In closing, we have evaluated dozens of sites, secured critical funding for due diligence, and kept transparency at the core of our work. All of our work, including the project plan, the Rink evaluation matrix, the public feedback form, our agendas, our meeting minutes, our bi-monthly update reports, and all other information has been made available on the town website. We look forward to hearing your feedback tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to Steph, who will explain the process for the public comments. But before I do, I want to take a moment to announce that we are honored tonight to have a special guest speaker, Dorothy Hamill, the namesake of Hamill Rink, the 1976 Olympic champion and 1976 world champion in ladies singles. It's an honor to have you join us tonight. And your accomplishments in the sport of figure skating is an inspiration to the committee, the task force, and all the residents of Greenwich.
Thank you, Matt. This evening, all speakers will have 3 minutes, and Catherine Ashworth will be the one timing and also calling your name. We're going to start with the names that were on the form that came through the public form, and then we'll address the ones in the room, obviously the ones that have signed in to speak. If for some reason you didn't sign up, just raise your hand. We'll be happy to call on you to come up and speak if there is time. I'll turn it over right now.
In addition, I wanted to let everyone know that I will give a 30-second warning towards the end of your time if you're still speaking. And first up, would like to invite Dorothy Hamill to make her comments.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be here virtually. And I'm so impressed and fascinated for you all to be able to hopefully find a place that's suitable for a new ice facility or 2 sheets maybe. I think I just want to stress how important skating was for me as a child growing up. I started skating outside on Binney Park. And when I begged my mom for lessons, she signed me up for group lessons at Playland. And as a youngster, I was 8 years old, and it changed my life. I had no idea that skating around outside in the wind and tripping on the rocks and the sticks, and then learning how to skate backwards and group lessons at Playland, that it would have been something that just has sort of fed my soul and been the love of my life for as long as I've been able to do it. Never intended to go to competitions and work towards the Olympics and then carrying on as a professional. Never dreamt, but it was like being on the ice for me was just like heaven. And I just know that I was not a great student. You can ask any teachers at Riverside School or Eastern Junior High. I was very shy, dyslexic, and in those days, it wasn't really diagnosed. So my comfort zone was being on the ice, twirling around and trying to skate faster and jump higher. And it was just such an amazing place for me to be. So in so many ways. And now I see the benefits of it being something healthy. Not everyone even wants to go to the Olympics, but it's such a beautiful, it's athleticism, it's musical, there's just so many benefits that it was so beneficial to me as a person. And I've watched over the years working with adults and special needs children that there's so much more to skating So I just think it's a wonderful, healthy place for youngsters and adults, figure skaters, hockey skaters. It's just, I can't speak enough about how wonderful and beneficial I think it is to people, kids and adults alike. And I hope that there's a way to find the perfect place for the rink. And if there's anything I can do, I wish I had tens of millions of dollars to put into it for you all. But I can absolutely support in any way that you would all want. But I just think it would be wonderful for Greenwich to have a wonderful skating facility that's open to everyone. So that's all I really, I've heard controversial things over the years that the rink is no good, they need a new one. And yeah, it was what, 50 years ago, maybe? Yeah, it was. So it's absolutely time for something new and fresh and sustainable and all the things that are available to builders these days, and great for the community, I think. So
On behalf of the task force, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. It's an honor to hear your voice. You're an inspiration to the task force, to the residents of Greenwich, and thank you so much for what you've meant to our town. And thank you for being here tonight.
thank you for having me, and I hope to see you all in person one of these days. All right, and thank you for all the work you're doing. Okay.
Thank you. The next
Bye-bye.
speaker is Peter Berg.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Hamel Task Force. My name is Peter Berg. I served 22 years on the RTM, the last 12 as chair of the RTM Land Use Committee. So thank you for your service. Greenwich is fortunate to have volunteers like you. Please reinstate 100 Arch Street. 100 Arch Street is the 1-acre footprint of the now vacant teen center and the Parks Department truck depot. It is bedrock, not landfill. Many agree those old buildings don't belong between the Island Beach Ferry Terminal and the great lawn of Baldwin Park, which is Greenwich's premier event space. Our first selectman wants to redevelop this site. His budget goal is to make the entire park accessible to the public and to encourage patronage other than for hosted events. Not so long ago, downtown Greenwich was a local hub for affordable shopping, affordable restaurants, and affordable entertainment. We had a bowling alley, 2 movie theaters, and a seasonal ice rink at the Showboat Inn on Greenwich Harbor. These were wholesome, fun, affordable places for teens, young families, and young adults on a first date. Now you have an historic opportunity to make downtown more affordable again. We call our proposal Harborside Arena. It's much more than a rink. A mezzanine-level restaurant, Harborside Oyster Bar and Grill, provides panoramic views of the harbor, the Sound, and Baldwin Lawn. Diners can watch skaters down on the rink below. Harborside Oyster Bar and Grill will be Greenwich's only waterfront restaurant for families that can't afford a yacht club. Harborside Arena has a ground-level cafe snack bar and restrooms that open to the park. 100 Arch Street is accessible to youth without a car or a ride. 100 Arch Street is a low-cost solution with the smallest impact on our mill rate because it adopts the governance model of the Bruce Museum, which raised $67 million for its recent expansion with no town funds. Harborside Arena appears
30
compliant
seconds, Peter.
with Greenwich's zoning and coastal regulations, consistent with the goals of our POCD, a requirement for gaining MI. Flood risk is mitigated by elevating the rink 3 feet. Finally, please visit our website, harborsidearena.com. Recommend 100 Arch Street. It's the rink Greenwich deserves. and thank you for your consideration.
The next speaker is Kate from the Greenwich Tree Conservancy. Okay, and after Kate is David Wald.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Kate Jakevich, and I'm the Executive Director of the Greenwich Tree Conservancy. First, I want to thank the committee for the dedication and careful research that you've clearly invested into this project. It's obvious that you've spent considerable time working to ensure that the community has a modern functional rink in a location that makes sense, and we recognize that Greenwich hockey players deserve exactly that. That said, we have some concerns about the direction of discussion. At the recent Byram Neighborhood Association meeting, it was discussed that the Eugene Morlot Memorial Park was one of the best locations for a new rink to be built. If the park is ultimately chosen, we would urge the town to build in place and construct a temporary rink elsewhere and rebuild a new facility directly on top of the existing rink footprint. The previous Rink Committee survey found that 66% of respondents said that they would use a temporary ice rink, which suggests strong public support for this approach. Given this, we recommend exploring town-owned parking lots and other suitable locations for the installation of a temporary rink. This would allow the new facility to be built in the same footprint and would minimize soil disturbance, tree loss, and disruption to Morlot Park's landscape and ecology. The park today has a beautifully balanced layout. Upon entry, visitors can see an open expanse of green space leading gracefully to the Byram Veteran Memorial Grove, with the existing rink set off to the side so as not to disrupt the park's visual flow. Building the new rink in the same location would preserve this view and maintain the prominence of the Veteran Memorials Grove that's so important to the Byram community. We're also concerned by the mention in the committee minutes of a potential new park entrance built from Western Junior Highway. This idea appeared in drafts of previous rink proposals, but was ultimately rejected after community backlash. Creating a new access point there would require removing trees from the narrow forest buffer along the baseball field. We would strongly urge the committee to reject any plan that involves cutting into this wooded area. Those trees provide essential ecological, visual, and noise buffering benefits while protecting nearby homes from light pollution and maintaining the natural character of the park's edge. We hope that the committee will review the reasoning behind the prior decision to preserve this buffer and maintain the park's integrity. While we understand that much work still remains on the rink plans, we urge that these considerations be addressed now at this early stage before any significant time and money are invested in a design that might face later opposition.
30 seconds.
Thank you for your hard work and considering these comments in the spirit of collaboration and town stewardship. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is David Wald, to be followed by Sarah Gleason.
Yeah, good evening to the task force and the public. My name is David Wold, and I've been following this rink issue since 2020, when I received a call from Bill Drake confirming that the intention was to place the rink in the parking lot as close as possible to the Memorial Grove. The late Don Sylvester and myself then mobilized through the Byram Veterans Association and the Byram Neighborhood Association, and we got representation on the various committees up through the years up till today. I know the task force has a very difficult task in front of them, but I was very surprised to read and see that the first selectman and town hall basically had removed all data and information from the website. This was the information that had been collected through Freedom of Information Acts, through going through endless files in the library, historical society, town hall, etc., over 5 years. Clearly, the task force left out one very important point. During the summer of 2020 and into the fall of 2020, the first selectman, Laura Rabin, did research together with the law department, and they came up with a resolution to protect the park, protect the Memorial Grove, and protect the parking lot. The resolution I have a copy of here, which was found on the Eugene Morlow website. It clearly states that no construction of any permanent structure on or above the existing parking lot. This was something that the Public Works insisted on to be a part of the resolution for naming the park. So removing all this data is giving a blank sheet to the public as to throwing all kinds of weird ideas at you guys. You might have access to it. I understand you don't have access to all of it. I beg you to put it back on the website. I came today to argue about this alternative A, which I was now told was not the task force proposal. I don't know why DPW came to the Bar and Neighborhood Association and presented it. It clearly was rejected.
30 seconds.
Okay. So I just beg you to put information on the website, answer questions from the public, and I would fully support Peter Berg's proposal down at the harbor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Sarah Gleason, to be followed by Alan Mellingard.
Hi, my name is Sarah Gleason, and I first want to thank the task force for all their incredible work. You guys have been, because I've been at every meeting since the last public hearing, you guys do amazing work. Keep it up, please. You're not doing an easy job, and there's no way we can make everybody happy, but we have to keep going. If Dorothy's still on the call, she's the reason I'm skating. Girl Scouts, and I lived on Riverside Avenue, the same side of Riverside Avenue as she did. I'm 9 years younger. I'm going to put it that way. So I've been at 2 shows at Hamel Rink with Hamel. One is an audience member, and one is a group's lesson student slash volunteer instructor with her on the ice. And that 1984 show, which was on March 24th, 1984, Breakfast Club Day, was the last time we raised money for this building. I'm not here to advocate any particular site. I'm just here to let you guys know that I'm passionate. You guys already know that. We have 5 Olympians connected to this building. She spoke herself. Gillian Waxman, Sue Mers, Alex and Maya Shibatani. And Olympic champions aren't made in a seasonal rink. My mom spent summer, mornings in April and May when the rink closed at 5:30 in the morning at Terry Connor's to make sure that I had ice time in other places. Classmates of mine in high school went to Katona or Lake Placid or Playland, so that's lost jobs and lost money. I'm a little nervous because my new rink manager's behind me. First town competition was outdoors. It was held in April, so there's wondering why that when mid-March, but that's not a topic for a task force. There are currently 6 instructors at Hamel Rink who have put in easily 30 to 40 years as instructors. We started volunteering in high school because amateurs status rules wouldn't allow us to get paid. I do want to point out that I've been listening to the BET meetings and things on TV.
30 seconds.
The Wings Arena in Stamford does not solve the ice time in Greenwich. They're already booked. We went on a task force walk. They're already booked through next season. Greenwich deserves a regulation-sized rink. And I wish I owned property big enough to put the rink on, just like Dorothy, and I hope I live long enough to see the new rink built.
Thank you. Fred Camillo.
Good evening and thank you. Mr. Chairman and members of the task force, first of all, thank you very much for doing this and putting in a lot of time here. The reason why I put this task force together was to get a reset. This is something that the town has been talking about. The rink opened in 1972, and I skated on it. My Aunt Rosie used to take me there every Wednesday. It just had boards, and that was it, and a slab of ice. And as early as 1975, that we started talking about where to put the rink, to rebuild it, to build onto it, knock it down, build a new one, or go to a different venue. Many of the sites that you've looked at were suggested back then. We've added some, and you've looked at all of them. I'm not here to advocate for one or the other. I will say the worst possible spot to put it is in where it is right now, because we'll never be able to capture solar. It will violate what the neighbors told us. They don't want the blasting, and we all know there's a lot of ledge there. It's a lot more expensive to rebuild. It's the worst possible place. I still think the flip's a great idea. However, some of these surface parking lots would do two things. It would make an asset, a surface parking lot, much more usable. They're falling into disfavor all around the country because they really do not take advantage of all the potential that they have. And you could always get more green space by building a park on top, some whatever in the front of it, but you can get a rink and push the parking in the back. We already have plans for that when we did the RFP for the Island Beach parking lot. But if you also did that, another benefit would be you would keep this building that we have now, where the rink currently is, and use it as a field house. That would help with the field shortages, which, as we know, is getting better now with some things coming back online. But I think you have really some good choices here. So again, I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You've heard from thousands of people in this town, and they really want this. It's been 50 years. I think enough is enough. And we couldn't have picked a better task force or a better chairman. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to just thank the first selectman for his support of our work. He's left us free to do our work. I want to make that clear to the public. He obviously has opinions, as he should, but our work has been done without interference from the office of first selectman, but only with his support. And he's done an outstanding job in putting together 9 dedicated volunteers for this work. So thank you for that.
The next speaker is Alan Mellengard, and to be followed by Christina Posha. Alan, are you here? Christina, are you here? Okay, the next one up then is Michael Kristoff.
I'm speaking for him. I'm Ann Kristoff. Thank you, everybody. Again, I want to just echo what everyone has said, thanking you for taking the time to be a part of this task force. The stuff, everyone is speaking really eloquently about facts and figures and stuff, and I don't really have that. I'm going to say that we do not support the flip for a couple of different reasons. One is the traffic that Barham cannot absorb during the construction and also when it's built. When you think about, like, where would the buses get off? Would they get off 3 and come down the Post Road and then turn on Western Junior Highway? Would they get off 2 and try to snake their way through Richland Road? And if you've driven up and down Sherman Avenue anytime lately, it's pretty impassable as it is. So the traffic, and with what's going on in Portchester and the overbuilding that they've gone through, you can't even barely get up and down Mill Street. And so all the entrances into Byram will then be sort of cut off by this. We're in favor of keeping the rink where it is. We like that it's tucked away. We like the open space of the Morlet Park and the Memorial Grove. And really, unless you go and sit up there and like feel what it feels like to be there in that calm open space, it's hard to argue, for that, but that's, I go up there a lot and we just sit there and the breeze is going through the sycamore trees, which my dad's class planted back in the day, Barham School. And we wouldn't want that to be disturbed by this giant rink being built in the middle of the field. So that's another reason why we're against it. And also when you think about the safety of the kids in the neighborhood with the increased traffic and also the building, every path would pass either New Leb or Western or even kids getting off the bus from Greenwich High School. And all of that extra traffic, I think, is a danger to the kids. And I just think that Byram has the least amount of open space in the whole town. My mother argued that in 1978 when Byram School closed, and that hasn't changed. And why is Byram not afforded the same protection as everywhere else in town? We wouldn't think of building in Pomerantz or Todd's Point, Bruce Park, Binney Park. Like, why do we get built on? And I think those are all of my main points, because I know I'm also running out of town. So I just want to thank you again, and I hope that we can all come up with a solution that works for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Jeff Erdang. I don't see him. Jim O'Brien. Owen Kiernan. Joanna Callan, I need my glasses. Calandranis.
Hi, I'm here.
Great, you have 3 minutes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you see me or just okay. I'm just okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Jonah Calandranis. I've lived in Byram for the majority of the last 27 years, mostly. I'm a proud mom of 3, 2 of whom attend New Lebanon School, and the Dorothy Rink has been a huge part of our family's life. My 10-year-old son Leo is in his 4th season playing for the Greenwich Cardinals Youth Hockey Association. During hockey season, he's at the rink 4 to 6 days a week for practices and home games. My daughters, ages 4 and 13, also love to skate, and we spend many weekends there at public skate, just as I did growing up. Youth sports are an essential part of our lives. We value them tremendously, not only for the physical benefits, but for what they teach: teamwork, perseverance, community, and character. GCYHA makes hockey accessible for local families who might otherwise be priced out of private leagues. It's more than a program, it's a family. Our coaches are incredible, the kids are passionate, and the friendships made there extend far beyond the ice. This year, participation has increased dramatically from what I can see, in the MITES 8U program, proof that families are excited about the future of skating and hockey in Greenwich. As far as I can see and hear in my circles, Byram families are thrilled about the idea of a new rink and are patiently waiting for progress. From what I've seen, Byram families, most of whom are dual working parents juggling multiple kids' activities and are active in their school and PTAs and their jobs and their lives, don't always have the time and flexibility to be involved in the BNA. That's why I don't believe the BNA's voice accurately reflects the families who actually use this rink every week. There are busy, dedicated parents who depend. Oh, wait, sorry, wrong thing. What did I do? Oh, these parents are busy and dedicated, and they depend on the rink and the lives around the space. The rink is a place to gather, a safe, healthy environment where kids learn, grow, and connect. It's a vital part of their childhood and our community fabric. The truth is, the rink is far past its useful life. As of yesterday, I was told that one of the 2 compressors are actually not functioning at all. So the rink is running on 1 compressor. The bathrooms are in deplorable condition. You can smell the urine before you even get there. Rebuilding in place simply isn't viable. Closing the rink for 2 years would devastate youth hockey, figure skating, and public skate programs and displace the families who rely on them. A temporary rink won't meet the needs of the community that uses Hamel the most.
30 seconds.
The modified Flint plan addresses earlier concerns, keeps operational during construction, and adds a road, hoping that it adds a road from the rink to Western Junior Highway, so we don't have to use those side roads that are residential. The people of Byram are proud of this rink. It's part of our identity, woven into our history and pride, and it belongs to stay. It needs to stay here for the last 50 years and the next 50.
Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
But your son is the next speaker, Leo.
Hi, my name is Leo Calandranis, and I go to school at New Lebanon. I'm in 5th grade. The rink has to stay while the new one is being built. I've been playing hockey with the Greenwich Cardinals for 4 years. Hockey means everything to me. It's where I've made my best friends, learned about teamwork, and gained my confidence on and off the ice. Our rink is a big part of our lives, but it's old and falling apart. The bathrooms don't work. At night, the lighting in the parking lot is horrible, and the locker rooms are very, very small. We are ready for a safe modern rink, one that can last for generations of hockey players, skaters, and families. Please move forward with this project in Byram. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. The next speaker is Maya Tishio, to be followed by Al Shahidi. No, not seeing Maya online, no. Okay, Al Shahidi, to be followed by Graham Fatadad.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Al Shahadi. I am a longtime Byram resident. I'm an officer of the BNA, though I'm speaking tonight as an individual. And for those with long memories, I'm one of 4 Byram residents that referred last year's MI to the RTM. My remarks are going to be about the Morlow Park option. First, I want to talk about open space. We need to firmly reject the town's argument that Morlot Park is not open space. With more than a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, the town's argument boils down to Ruth Sims didn't say abracadabra. She said open space, but she should have said open space abracadabra. Or maybe today you would say abracadabra open space, and she said it a different way. It's a ridiculous argument of semantics. The 1979 MI is clear. It dedicates the entire area as open space. And for those of you that aren't kind of as old and gray as I am, there's a little historical context behind that. The town moved quickly. It wasn't just Ruth Sims to dedicate that area as open space in response to very real neighborhood concerns that after the closing of the Byram School in 1978, that one of the few remaining areas of open space in Byram would be developed. And this was to address that concern. That concern still exists. If that history is not enough to convince you, take a look at the field cards. There's 2 properties at 0 Western Junior High School. There's 2 field cards, one for 1.79 acres that covers the rink. The land type, all field cards have land type, says primary commercial. If you look at the field card, and I have a copy of it here, for the 11.63 open space area, parkland area around there, I'll give you one guess what the field card says. The land type is listed by the town as open space. I understand that the open space designation does not prevent building on the site, but if the task force is going to rule out building on other rink sites because they are supposedly open space, they need to rule out Morlot Park as well. Second area I want to talk about is building size. Everyone knows the new rink, or the proposed rink last year, has a 40,000 square foot footprint, which is about 1/3 larger in footprint than the existing. But a building's not a footprint. It's a 3-dimensional structure. It's a volume. If you read through
30 seconds.
If you read through the application last year, the proposed rink is 700,000 cubic feet. That's massive. You can't compare it to the existing rink because the town didn't provide that information. But I can compare it with another controversial project that's currently being proposed in town. The proposed Berkeley Insurance building off Steamboat Road is 650,000 cubic feet. That's being actively opposed by the neighbors as too large.
That's time, thank you.
If that is too big for a dense area with other office buildings, how is 700,000 cubic feet appropriate for the small, dense neighborhood of Byram? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Graham Fatadad, to be followed by Red Yannicki.
Hi, Graham Fatadad. I'm here. I have a 10-year-old in the audience who's tearing it up with the Greenwich Cardinals Youth Hockey Association. Thank you for all the work you've been doing. Just a little history. Back in 2011, my older boy was lacing up skates at Hamel. 15 years ago, people were already talking about replacing that rink, and guess what? We're still here. Still sitting here twiddling our thumbs waiting for action. I appreciate everything you're doing to push that forward. We just want to make you aware that everybody in the community that is involved in youth and sports is fully supportive of this. Hamel Rink isn't just some frozen puddle. It's where our kids are learning what it means to be a team, to win, to lose, and to build friendships. It's where our high school warriors hit the ice carrying the town pride on their shoulders. And to be clear, this rink isn't just for the country club crowd. It's for every single person in this town, and everybody benefits. Hamel's done its time. It served us well, but it's falling apart at the seams. It can't keep up with the growing community, and frankly, it's pretty embarrassing when you walk in there as a Greenwich resident. Our kids, our teams, our neighbors, they deserve better than this rundown facility. They deserve a rink that says we're the best, a place where the next generation can carve out memories and championships. Let's be clear, Greenwich High should be challenging for a state high school championship every year. We needed a new rink yesterday, so enough talk, enough delays. Let's get off our butts and make this happen before my son is done high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Red Yannicki, to be followed by Ashley Longo. Okay. Ashley, would you like to speak? Thanks. And Ashley will be followed by Jack Muller.
I hope Jack is here. He's a good friend of mine. I prepared something. I don't know if I'm going to go off of it. Thank you all for having me here today. Thank you for all the work that you've done in this. I am a Greenwich resident, went to Greenwich High School, lived here my entire life. I live on Sherman Avenue. I have not been involved with this at all, but I own a house on that street. I've lived there for the majority of my life. My mom owns a house on the street. My grandfather owns a house on that street. I'm fully invested in what happens here. I think there was a lot of talk about trees and parking and traffic on that street. And I know that you all will do all of your homework and do the things that are right by the community. The parking, the busyness doesn't bother me. I love that. When the kids play hockey, they're driving up my street. I'm waving. Jana, who just spoke a little while ago, they're good friends of ours, and we wave when we see our friends driving up our street. So it's a great thing for the Byram community. We're proud to have it in our community. It brings Old Greenwich to us. We have to go to Old Greenwich to go to the beach, but guess what? They have to come to us to play hockey. They have to come to us to play ice skating and do all of the things. So I just wanted to say that I fully support it. I think it would be wonderful to put maybe the entrance on the other street, but I fully support what's here and what you guys are doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Jack Muller, to be followed by Joe Rothenberg. Okay, then no Jack, Joe Rothenberg. To be followed by Akash Patel.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Joe Rothenberg. I'm on the board of Greenwich Cardinals Youth Hockey. I have 3 boys who play in the program. I want to thank you all for all the work you've been doing, and thank you for listening to us. I mean, you've had us and you've had many other constituent groups in, and I think the whole town needs to appreciate everything that's happening here. We've had so many great speakers tonight that I'm going to change what I was going to say. I just want to talk about what a disruption to our program would do, because I still hear talk about building in place, even though I think most people understand that that's not going to happen, or that that's not the best thing to happen. If we have a shutdown of the rink, our program is dead. It is gone. Some of the kids will leave for other programs in other towns. They probably will never come back. Most of the kids don't have the means to do that, whether it's financially, whether it's just the time and being able to get kids to rinks in all these other towns and pay for these programs. Youth hockey, our youth hockey program will go away. The high school will not have a team. I think they've come in and said, I've heard them say that they'll take them, something like 5 years to rebuild their program. I find that pretty unfathomable that we would allow that in our town. To talk about, a temporary rink, I just want everybody to think about where that would go. We're having enough trouble over the last 50 years finding 1 spot for a rink. Now we're talking about finding 2 spots for a rink. It can't go in Morlow Park while we're building the rink, because that's going to become a staging site for the construction. I don't know where else it would go, And we also have to think about what it would require in order to be a viable facility for our kids to play in. You need locker rooms. You need to be protected from the element. You need bathrooms. You need heat. And these rinks run from 7, 8 in the morning until 10 at night on the weekends. And during the week, I don't know what's going on during the days. My kids are in school, but we are there all afternoon into the evening hours. I drive my older boy home at 9 o'clock from the rink. A tent or an outdoor facility, it's just not going to get it done. And that's effectively the same to us as losing the program for however many years. Most importantly, we've been talking about replacing this rink for a number of years. We had a committee, we had a plan. We decided as a town to restart the process, make sure more voices are heard, a different process is followed. Now we have this task force, which everybody agrees is doing great work. It has RTM members, the Byram Neighborhood Association, the Veterans Association, and many others all being represented. Nobody is going to be 100% happy. This task force can attest to the fact that I personally submitted a written proposal with 6 other locations outside of Morlow Park. And I've supported other things like having 2 ice surfaces, which may or may not happen. But if we all agree as a town, and I think we do, that we need a rink, and we spent all of these years and all this time and effort to get here, at some point we have to move forward and we have to listen to the recommendations of this task force and get this thing built. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Akash Patel, to be followed by Noel Vivier. Akash Patel's the head of the FBI.
Are you saying?
It is Akash Patel. He's in my district. Okay.
Is he on? Let me see. Is he? No.
He's not in the. Noel Vivier, to be followed by Brett Markowitz.
I don't see.
I don't. Cynthia Ailman. No? Oh.
Is she on Samsung? Is that what that might be her? Could you try Samsung, Kate? It's
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. My name is Cynthia Alleman, and I do live in Greenwich. I have 2 boys that play for the Greenwich Cardinals, and we would hate to lose the program. So whatever you guys do, we would like it to stay in Byram. We love not having to navigate 95, twice a day to try to get them to hockey. And we would hate to see the Cardinals lose their rink for a couple of years because, as the other speaker said, everyone will find new programs and it will never come back together like it is. So, I do ask that we keep it in Byram and that we don't affect the hockey season, and we'd love to see something that goes all year. So thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Robert Christoph, to be followed by Matt Pop. No worries. Okay, Matt Pop, to be followed by John Spark.
Good evening, Matthew Pop from District 4. I'm on the Parks and Rec Board. I'm just speaking for myself. Byram resident for like 30 years or so. My son played on the Blues and played on the high school team. I remember climbing over the chain link fence that used to wrap it and running on with my shoes and sliding around. So I have a lot of history. I'm against the Byram site, mainly because it's a congested area. If you had to tell somebody how to get there and if they didn't have ways, like how would you tell them to get there from here? It's extremely tough to find, very congested neighborhood. As you saw from the plan that was submitted at the Byram Neighborhood Association last meeting, everything's shoehorned in. Like the walkways on the plan weren't put in, the dugouts weren't put in because it just doesn't fit there. I think I spoke to Peter Berg. He asked me to prepare a little site plan, which I think he may have handed to you in his little pamphlet. So I prepared that. That is site number 4. That's at 100 Arch Street. To me, the building, I have it right here, the sketch. I don't know why you don't have a sketch like this for every site, because the sketch is worth, 1,000 words. You're able to tell if it fits or doesn't fit. So this is pretty close to being scale. This site, it's on rock, I'm assuming because it's been there forever. The grades across the street are both parking lots are filled. You don't know what type of fill there is underneath it, probably contaminated or maybe contaminated. If you put the rink here, exit the site number 4, there's no loss in parking. It's close to restaurants. I know that was important for us when we go away to rinks way out of town. After the game, you always want to go out to eat somewhere. You're in Byram, where do you go? Maybe go to Portchester, but if it's at exit 3, you go to Greenwich Avenue to eat. Very easy access, and you don't need a temporary rink here. So I would recommend that you, again, bring site 4 back up on here, and that you prepare a site plan like that for each one. You'll know, like some of these options, you'll know right away that you're studying may not fit. So after I did the sketch, I kind of prepared what a building could look like.
30 seconds.
I'm just going to submit this building, and it's just very conceptual.
Thank you.
Again, it's just very conceptual. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to scale. It's got it's kind of the Petersburg's idea of an upper platform for restaurants. Keeps the old building. And again, I'd just like to thank Megan for doing an excellent job for representing Byram. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, Next speaker, John Sparg, to be followed by Lucy Von Brackel.
Thank you. Saturday, I was driving down Western Junior Highway, and I started to think about tonight and thinking about how things have changed over the years. And I started thinking about the staircase that was behind the rink that went down to the street. And I don't know if you know this, but that was built so that kids from Western Junior High could go to the rink for gym class, not after school, to go for gym class, get skates and go back. It never worked out, but that was the idea. That tells you how things have changed. I've spoken about the rink a couple times, but not about the site. So very briefly, I wanted to make a comment about the site and the idea of a flip with a baseball field. I myself played a lot of baseball here in Greenwich growing up. The midget leagues, Babe Ruth High School. I've coached t-ball, softball. I've pretty much been to all of the baseball fields in town, I think. And as you know, the town has methodically removed baseball fields from different schools and parks. But it's because baseball just is not popular anymore today with kids. They like lacrosse, they like soccer, but there isn't a lot of baseball being played. The season's only from April through June. It's very short. So I don't think, and it's because kids just don't go outside anymore without their parents. I'll let sociologists explain why. I can't do that. But I think because of that, I urge you not to try and build another state-of-the-art baseball field. There's one just opened up behind Western. If you haven't seen it yet, it's fabulous. Take a look. But this is about your work is about building a rink. A rink is very popular here in Greenwich. It's used a lot. It's not about flipping so we can have another baseball field. That's really my point to you tonight. Please don't treat them as equals, especially with the state-of-the-art field that just went up. It's not needed. If you build it, they won't come. The rink belongs exactly where it is today, and it's been very successful. And I too want to thank you for your service on this committee. It's really what makes Greenwich great, having volunteers doing the work like this. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, Lucy Von Brackel.
Hi, Rink Task Force. I'm very grateful for all the hard work you guys have been doing. I'm going to, I know that you guys are talking about the open space issue in your next meeting. I did just want to make a couple of comments about that. At the same time that Moorlot Park was designated open space by the Board of Selectmen and P&Z through an MI in 1979, so was Havemeyer Fields. There are, I think that you guys, as Al said, should take note that open space is open space. There aren't like different variations of designation in that, as far as I know. It is true that you can probably do something with the properties that are open space, but it needs to be thoughtfully considered under, you know, the POCD and all of that. But even if, you also have to look back, in my opinion, at some of the sites that you crossed off the list and look to see if perhaps, maybe if you want to build at Moorlot, maybe you could also build on those. It goes both ways. Either don't build or build, but treat each property equally. I also wanted to note that I know that although cost is not a consideration for this task force, it does keep coming up in some conversations about reasons why you can't do certain things at Moorlot Park, like, you know, how much it would cost to blast or this and that. And I just want to say either take that out of the conversation, or you need to start looking at that more carefully, because there are costs like the demolition of the building, which would cost a couple $1 million probably, installing the new baseball field, the parking lot, a lot of things that weren't really considered from the get-go. And I'm so looking forward to seeing the cost estimates that we've been asking for 5 years. And I also wanted to point out that while the flip might keep skaters on the ice without interruption, it puts the entirety of the rest of the park offline for years. The baseball field would be out of commission for another couple of years because of, you know, letting the grass establish itself, and the demolition will be going on while the new rink is open if you do the flip. I would also, I mean, well, I got so many things to say.
30 seconds.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is temporary rinks. I think it is important that you look at what is possible. We all have sort of a vision of what that could or wouldn't look like, but you know, make sure you understand what permitting you need, what kind of infrastructure is required, and how much it'll cost. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone else who would like to speak, you can come up. Great. Who is it?
Yeah, Peter Simpson. Oh, I thought I signed up.
I didn't see you on,
I'm out, I got a confirmation.
so I didn't see you on the list, but you have the floor.
First of all, again, thank you for all this effort. I know it's not easy. It takes a lot of your personal time out getting this done, and I'm glad I'm not one of you guys, because the time and effort you're putting in is tough, and I do appreciate it. A couple things I've been thinking about and listening to and talking to and thinking about it, and part of the problem I got here, I was trying to get from Riverside over to this rink, and I kind of went down and I went by at prime time trying to get here at 6 o'clock, and the traffic trying to get through the parking lot where the Island Beach, right at the time everybody's showing up to hockey rinks, was jam-packed, 2 lights to get through because of the traffic. The same thing, I have grandsons who play hockey and swim at the Boys and Girls Club. Take your life into your hands trying to get from the park, Horseneck Park, over to the Boys and Girls Club at rush hour. I don't know if those things make sense just from a traffic standpoint. I know nobody's gone that route. That was just something I experienced just the other night and tonight. The park that it's presently at, build in place can't be done if they really want to build the facility, because the rink is undersized. So you're going to have to tear down and make a larger footprint there. You're not going to be able to build exactly on site. And in order to do that, I mean, so now you're tearing it down and not being able to, you're out for a couple of years. It's going to take a larger place and encroach more into the neighbors. The flip, I get the idea of the Memorial Park, the flip 2 or whatever you want to call it, 2.0, which I know is not something you've done, I think might want to be brought into the table and looked at as the option, because it's addressing the needs of the neighbors and the Byram Association, and it seems they've kind of answered those questions. And I know the open space thing. I still am kind of looking at, I know Holly Hill is one of the options that, was discussed and rejected 6-0 from the vote that I saw online. But with the driveway off of Byram Avenue, I think it's called Muskrat Pond Road, into that facility, addresses not affecting neighborhoods. I know Holly Pond is a bigger project that has to be addressed as a whole big property, and that would probably delay the hockey rink possibility. But there's a lot of open real
30
estate.
seconds.
Yeah, I'm just about to be done. There's a lot of open real estate there. Now, the reason why an old man, I played in Dorothy Hamill Rink without a roof, with sidewalls. I skated with Dorothy Hamill on Binney Park when she was a little kid. I played hockey with her brother. But I also have 2 grandsons going through the Greenwich Youth, and they love it. They started last year. It's all they talk about. They run around in their hockey jerseys. We can't let this program go away. But I would love to see Holly Pond become an option.
Thank you.
Holly Pond, Holly Hill. Thank you.
I actually signed up. Oh, no, I didn't see the Trevor. Trevor, go ahead.
Trevor Crow, I was a fellow figure skater, and it was incredibly important to my life growing up. I grew up in Boston, skating at the Skating Club of Boston, but I do believe that this is a facility that's incredibly important to our youth, especially everybody who's stuck on their screens far too long. I'm also a believer in having rinks that are close to town, where it gets people excited. You can see people skating. I spent a lot of time up in Lake Placid. I don't know if you guys remember the Olympics, but that rink right in the middle there where Eric Johnson maybe won, I don't know how many races. But just having it close by to where people can get off the train. Hopefully we'll be having people using public transportation more as we go forward, because our roads are so tight and traffic is so heavy. We can encourage people to start using our train system on Metro North. But anyway, overall, thank you again for everything you guys have been doing. It's really important to our town, and I think it brings everybody together. And back to Dorothy Hamill's sort of heartfelt message to all of us. It was so meaningful to her life and her growth as an individual, and I feel very much the same way as you two. So thanks again.
Thank you.
We have 2 online.
Okay, great. Let's do the 2 online, and then we'll come back to the people in the room. You'll all get to speak. Okay, Peter Alexander? Can you just say something?
Yes, thank you.
Great, we can hear you. Thank you.
I really want to thank Dorothy Hamill for her opening remarks. I hope to see her in Milan in a couple of months. I don't know if she remembers me in Lake Placid or not, but this is what a great town. Listen to all you have your different opinions. I have a slightly different opinion. I think we should just modernize or rehab the wonderful rink we have, especially have our youth and disabled training there while we build a new one all up to snuff. I have a couple of sites that are somewhat controversial, but I would like to make a presentation. How do I submit it to the committee? How do I do that?
There's an online feedback form on the website. You can send it through that.
Okay, I'll try to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's the next?
Victoria Gar.
Okay, Victoria, you've got 3 minutes. When you're ready. Can you say something so we can hear you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you. My name is Victoria Gar. I wanted to thank you all for having this meeting again. I'm a Byram resident, and I have 2 children who attend New Lebanon School. My son plays hockey for the Greenwich Cardinals, and I'm here to voice a strong support for keeping the hockey rink on the western side of town, where it already plays an essential role in our community. The proposal to flip the locations of the current baseball field and the new professional grade hockey rink is smart and community-focused. It allows construction of the new facility to begin without losing a hockey or skating season, preserving vital programs and traditions for our kids. For families like mine and many others in Byram, the current rink is walkable, and it offers a safe and reliable winter recreation for kids and teens who can't easily travel across town. It also means that grandparents and extended family can come watch games and practices without having to drive far or deal with difficult parking. It isn't just about hockey, it's about maintaining access for all generations in a neighborhood that depends on it. Relocating the rink elsewhere, especially near exit 3, would only create more traffic congestion in an area that's already heavily impacted, particularly near the Boys and Girls Club and commuter routes. It would shift a highly used resource away from the people who use it most and into a zone that's already overly burdened with cars and buses. The addition of a new entrance off Western Junior Highway is a big step forward. It will improve accessibility, parking, and flow for other users without straining the residential streets. This plan is practical, it's inclusive, and it ensures that Byram remains a place where families can stay active, connected, and involved without leaving their neighborhood. Please support the effort to keep the rink in Byram where it belongs and where it continues to serve our town with the best possible way. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the people who are in the room who would like to speak. Feel free to maybe just line up at the podium. There's just the two of you, so.
Hi, thank you for your work. I just wanted to bring up a point.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Oh, I am Beth McGilvery. I'm on the RTM. I just wanted to highlight that when I was on the RTM, I did a little homework I was listening to the skaters that do not want to lose any ice time, which is paramount for their whole program and the whole community. There are turnkey companies that will put in a temporary rink, do everything from start to finish for $500,000 with all the bells and whistles. All they need for that temporary rink is a parking lot, a football field. There's plenty of spots around town in the winter that are not being used. For example, Greenwich High School football field is not being used during the winter. But if you put your thinking hats on, that is a viable option that will settle the minds of all these skaters worrying that this new ice skating rink, that they're going to lose some ice skating time, that should be off the table because there are some very inexpensive, right? Come in, turnkey, and put the rink up. And I just wanted to make that note. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. What's your name?
Declan Fadadad.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I feel like we should put, more, I remember, when I was super young, there used to be, food, and so I think we should, expand the rink, and so there could be, a food station, at one of the Dairy M rinks, they have, a whole, big restaurant and stuff, and so I'm thinking that we could add that, and that's all I want to say. And also, there's a bunch of stuff that we could, like the benches in locker rooms, they're kind of small, and so we can maybe, replace those, and, yeah.
That's great.
Thanks for your
Thank
comments.
you.
Those are really good suggestions, and food is always a main concern of mine, too, so appreciate that.
Good evening, Claire Kilgallen for the record, Byram resident, former New Leb PTA president. I was on the feasibility team for New Leb. I was on the building committee for New Leb. I'm on the building committee for CMS. Why do I say this? Because I know things from my volunteerism, and I appreciate your volunteerism. And the short of it is, people in Byram want this asset to remain in Byram. Ask all the kids who came through New Lebanon School under Mr. Mata, who every year would learn how to skate at Dorothy Hamill Rink. That tradition should be continued. I'm going to just cover some issues I heard tonight. We can't rehab logistically. The building is too old. It doesn't meet code, ADA, et cetera. The ice isn't big enough. All those things say we need to build something new. It's not economically worthwhile to try and rehab an old dog. That's what people wanted to do on New Leb, and that was rejected because it didn't make fiscal sense. It also doesn't make sense. The model is to now in construction to stay in place, build across, and then demolish. As to using the GHS fields, that's not feasible. The construction period for this project is more than 6 months, and the requirement under P&Z is that if you have something more than 6 months, you need to have foundations, utilities, toilets, all of that would have to be built. So that's not doable. This place is important to the Byram community. As I said before, I'm grateful to the Board of Selectmen and Parks and Rec who protected the Memorial Grove in perpetuity almost 4 years ago. That's a non-issue. I thank everyone who's spoken before, especially people who live on Sherman Avenue. I think living literally 3 blocks away from this, that it's time for Western Junior to be opened. It's from a health, life, safety perspective. It's from a flow perspective. It addresses the modern needs. And perhaps you leave the current entrance as an exit only or an emergency access for life, health, safety. However the land is characterized, however, the fact is, the rink has been there. The rink has been there. It's a pre-existing use. It has been part of the park. Whatever word you want to use to describe that, that area has included this rink since 1972, and there is no straight-faced argument to say that somehow it's illegal to have it there.
30 seconds.
Thank you. I'm glad you've gotten the funding to get pricing. I think people have difficulty seeing massing and not understanding what that means in real life. And so maybe models would be helpful to that extent. I would also ask as a B&A member, I would tell you there was no vote by the B&A membership. The survey that was given in short order. I would also ask that since the results were mixed, that the entire survey be submitted as part of the record, because everyone I've talked to in my years at New Leb are in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Alex Pop. I'm a Byram resident, RTM member of District 4. And I would be in favor of housing the rink at a centralized location somewhere around exit 3. I got here a little late because I ran into traffic in Byram, on Byram Road, which is just crazy. But I did, luckily I did hear Dorothy speak on the way up, and at the end she said, we need a rink open for everyone. And I can only imagine she was referring to both the affluent communities and the less affluent families. And the only truly way to reach everyone, including those less affluent families, is to place it near the Boys and Girls Club. That would be a milestone win. It opens the rink to a totally new user group. We can make skaters out of non-skaters. Just think of that. You know, and I know there's traffic everywhere and there's concerns about the congestion, but we can make that work. You know, it's the same story in Byram. There's traffic everywhere. So, you know, it's placing it in a centralized location. It's a win for the transportation. It's so easy on and off I-95. You know, sure, you may have to wait an extra red light or something like that. It's 30 seconds. Who cares? And as previous speaker spoke, it's available by Metro North. Just imagine that. Unbelievable. The other flip plan, the first original flip plan, Bill Drake convinced everybody that that was the absolute best model. And now we have a revised flip plan. So how is that better than the original one? I'm not convinced by that. You know, and it was rejected by the RTM once. You know, I don't know what's going to happen if Byram gets it chosen or not. But there's a probability, maybe it's likely, but maybe it's not likely, that the plan would get denied again, and then we lose another year or two, and then we need another committee. So all in all, the centralized location, and I kind of enjoyed what Mr. Berg was saying about his location, and that's something that we should be looking at. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. The clock is starting here. First should be last, last should be first. There's a cost to everything. You can't get rid
I'm
of
sorry,
that.
what's your name?
Peter Quigley.
Oh, thank
I'm a
you.
25-year resident. I'm currently in Chickahominy. I've been 5 terms on the RTM. It's Peter Quigley. I was on the first Harbor Management Committee. It's not to the merits of this program, it's to the locations that you've really got to be studying. And I speak to the soil testing that has not been adequately done to build a new rink up in the Weston Middle School area. It's one of the most contaminated sites in this town next to the MESA project at the high school. You need proper soil testing. And you need Langen, who's doing the soil testing up there, to do it. The only test I've seen is from Osprey 5 years ago. The same summer they did the testing, they were sued by the town of Fairfield. It was not a very thorough soil testing report. So to the environmental impact is what I'm speaking to, and not to the merits of the program of where you want to put it. You also, to the harbor. Please, that harbor is going to be silted in the next 10 years by the flooding conditions and the lack of controlling stormwater drainage into the harbor, but you're in a major FEMA flood zone there. I don't hear that mentioned at all here, so building anything near the waterfront, to me, is going to require the federal government and FEMA to be engaged on just how you're going to build that thing. So I think that's going to be a very liable area to be looking to do this thing. Again, I'm not against, the merits are fine. I think clearly the Hammer Rink needs to be restored. But renovation probably is the best way if you're looking at costs, without disturbing the area up there, because when you start to disturb that ballpark, you're right next door to what is a $15 million renovation costing the taxpayers. The renovation at MESA at the high school, do you know what that is? That's going to be close to $60 million, 50 to 60 million on top of the 28 million for the MESA project. So you've got to take those two things into consideration. I have 2 suggestions, and I'll leave it. I've been speaking to this issue for 15 years, and I certainly appreciate all the work you all do and the previous committees that have been doing this, including Bill Drake, where I was on his budget committee back in 2008. 2 suggestions that confuse me, okay? One is you've got a new rink called Wings Arena. It looks so close to Old Greenwich that it would be in Old Greenwich. You also
30
have
seconds.
You also have the Brunswick School that pays no taxes for the last 100 years. Why they can't partner, you've got 2 groups here. You've got the serious hockey players, why they can't partner with the Brunswick School or with the Wings Arena is crazy. The family part of it should stay at Hamel Rink, where it has been a long time, but it clearly needs to be restored and renovated, and you'll probably get more RTM support by a renovation there than trying to find another location. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes?
Yes,
Hi.
I'd like to speak. My name is Lauren Turner. I live on the avenue. So I would I'm highly against the rink being downtown just because of traffic. There's already so much construction from this sidewalk renovation that's been disastrous, and I can never park. It's a nightmare already, and I can only imagine if you were to build the rink, how much more of a nightmare that would be for parking for people that actually live on the avenue. So I'm voicing my concern that this is already a nightmare, and it would be more so, and it would probably be better if it's just, like he said, renovated where it's existing. I love hockey, but just not on the avenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
I want to again thank all the residents who joined us here tonight and those who have been following our work from the very beginning. We've had several residents who have been to just about every one of our meetings. I'd like to remind the public that there is a public feedback form available on the website and that the task force receives and reads all of the forms that are received. Our meetings are weekly. The next is on October 15th at 6:30, and the agenda is already posted. Last, I'd like to thank my fellow task force members. Each one has attended just about every single one of our weekly meetings for the past 6 months. I appreciate your dedication and your commitment to this project, and I thank you for your volunteerism. I also want to thank the town officials who have equally kept up with our brisk pace of meetings. It's been a collaboration of the public and the town. Thank you very much, and the meeting is adjourned.